I'm just as so lucky to say that I got to headline and main event that show with my best friend in the most important match that I've ever had in my entire life. That was so...
Speaking about Canadian wrestling, I just want to switch gears for just a little bit of a moment. I know that Speedball Mike Bailey is a good friend of yours. You look up to him. I was at the match when you went for the title in IWS. I know Speedball Mike Bailey means a lot to you. Can you describe the feeling you had wrestling your good friend Speedball Mike Bailey in the main event of the IWS?
Like, there was layers to why that meant so much to me, just because of how we got there. You know, that whole thing started as like a Twitch like goal. Like, it was like a thing to kind of help raise both of our like the viewership of our channels. And unfortunately the goal was like just fell short of getting met. So we ended up doing something different, where IWS's first show back, we did a 6-man tag, and then you know, Speedball and I, you know, wrestled pretty much against each other in the match. And then once that match happened and we realized the chemistry that we actually had, and everybody else saw the chemistry that we had, just because it ended up being one of those things where we were both vlogging it all at the time. So like, it ended up on his vlog and my vlog. So like, anybody that was following me saw it, anybody that was following him saw it. And then there was like this kind of like group of people, like a lot more people saw it than what were intended. And I think, again, I don't know this for sure, but I think that IWS was kind of like, we're grabbing this and doing this before anybody else does, because like there's something here, you know?
Yeah.
And thankfully, I'm very, very grateful. Like to my Ontario friends, I like to brag that Speedball and I are the first two dudes that main evented and sold out MTELUS. The only other person to do it was Rey Mysterio, and then it was us. Now, I don't know if it was actually us. I would like to, because I'm always going to give Manny and Andrew all of the credit for just hustling their ass off, because they're the most passionate and incredible promoters ever. So they 1000% did it. But I'm just as so lucky to say that I got to headline and main event that show with my best friend in the most important match that I've ever had in my entire life. That was so, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say that was so good, because I don't like saying that about any of my stuff, but it ended up becoming a 1-hour documentary on the Fight Network. And I think that that's kind of like one of the cooler things that you can say about something. It's just like this idea that a friend and I had about, that was, you know, really started out as a Twitch thing, became this thing that was so big, and was probably the most, actually, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important night of my life in my entire wrestling career. And that says a lot for especially the things that I've been up to the last couple of years. So because we built that organically. That was us. That meant a lot. Like, I'll never forget, like, when that I heard that 3 count on the mat, I just was like, man, we fucking did it. Like,
Banger
son of
match.
a bitch.
Banger of a match.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Cause like that was one of those things where we put everything that we had into that. Like, we went out with the intention of like, we are like, I love you, but we are going to kick the absolute living shit out of one another. And, you know, that's our art. That's just what we love. And that's both the stroke of the brush that we like to use, I suppose, for our art. And it was just very cool to finally be able to do that. And, you know, as happy for him as I am that he's doing all of his stuff, because I like I said, like, that man's my brother. Like, I love him to death.
Best in the world. Best in the world. Best in the world, man.
Exactly. It'll forever bum me out to know that, like, it's just probably, like, I just don't see it getting booked again. Like, I just don't know who's going to do it. And that part is going to bug me, because I know that we would do so much better the second time around. But, you know, a boy can dream.
Exactly.